All right. Thanks for tuning in. This is Max and Jeff with PSC Sports Talk. Part two of week 13's pick segment. Jeff was tied up on Tuesday when we tried to do it, so figured we'd do two this week. So, Jeff, good to see you today. How are things going there in Chicago?
Things are going good. It's cold. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Hope you had a good holiday.
Yes, I did. You as well. So I guess the first thing we can talk about real quick is the Bears fire Eberflus today after his press conference speaking about the shit show that was the game of yesterday. What are your thoughts on that one?
The fact that he wasn't fired last night, I get it. They're not going to fire him on Thanksgiving. They're going to sleep on it and do it fresh in the morning time. The fact that they actually toted him out for his daily press conference after a game and let him word vomit all over the place to the media, nobody thought he was going to get fired. I honestly thought they were going to keep him after what it sounded like. The Bears organization is a mess. I'm very happy that it happened, but I think it happened 14 NFL weeks too late. I think it should have been fired January, whatever, last year. Start fresh with the whole new coaching staff, with your new quarterback, and hopefully Thomas Brown does really well. The offense keeps rolling. Maybe, players start, playing for a purpose. It seemed like they gave up after that week, that loss to Washington, where they botched the Hail Mary.
Where the guy was rooting with the fans or whatever.
Yeah, and then Eberflus let them get 13 yards. He conceded 13 yards just, for the hell of it. It's like, I think that's when players quit. You could see there was a different play. And then to go out and get your asses completely kicked at home by the New England Patriots, who were so bad.
Yeah.
Just, that was right there. It's like, these guys don't want to play for this guy anymore. They know he's a dead man walking.
Well, just the handling of that whole Hail Mary play too. You come back and you're suspended or you're benched for a quarter. This isn't fucking pee-wee football. You know what I'm saying? Either you're suspended or you're fucking playing.
Right.
This whole one quarter shit. You're teaching him a life lesson. That makes too much money to be trying to teach him a life lesson with that kind of shit, in my opinion.
In my opinion, that's correct. So just everything that he's done, the fact that he went, what was his final record? Oh, it wasn't good.
It's in the 300 or like 300 percentile. If I'm, or you know what I'm saying, like
I think it was a 227%.
Oh God, even worse than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, let's see. I have the stats right here. Yeah, I can't find it. It was, I want to say he was 14-35, I want to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember the Bears sniffing 500 in the last, or since he's been their coach.
No, not even close. I think 14-35 was his overall record. 5-16 in one-score games. He only won 2 games against his own division since he started.
You can't go like that. I mean, it's it's one thing to have be snake bitten one-score games. That could happen. It's it's football, but when you can't beat your own division, that's grounds for firing right there.
Yeah, and the 2 games that they beat 2 quarterbacks. They beat third string quarterbacks. Yeah.
But hey, I'll tell you what though, that the guy that they hired though, he's obviously on a rocket ship. What did he start off as?
He interviewed for the offensive coordinator job before they hired Shane Waldron, and he didn't get it. And the Bears kind of did him dirty in a way, because they interviewed him way late, and after they left him hanging, they hired Waldron. Everything was already taken up, so they hired him because they liked him for quarterback quality coach. So he's been working with Caleb Williams since. But when Waldron was fired, they promoted him. The offense has been rolling. They've been putting up points.
Really has.
Caleb Williams looks like a different quarterback out there. I'm wondering if it's going to improve. Let's see what this is an audition, I guess, for maybe getting the head coaching job next year. If the Bears,
so you think he does have it? He does have a shot then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They said right out he is absolutely interviewing. They want to see how he does. The only thing that concerns me is that he is comfortable calling the plays from the press box. He likes to be in the bird's eye view and see up top. Well, now this interim coach, he's got to be on those sidelines right now. So it's
right. And he's going to continue to call, or as of right now, he's going to keep calling plays.
I'm guessing so. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you guys are kind of depleted in the coaching staff even at this point. You can't,
Yeah, because there's way too many guys that have been fired. I mean, if you think about it, he has lost 5-6 coordinators over the last 2 years.
Right. And do they replace any of the guys they fired this year, or did they just promote people from within?
They just promoted people within.
So, yeah, I mean, they're down at least a couple of coaches right there, too. So, yeah, he almost has to call plays at this point.
I would think he would, considering that he's got a good working relationship with Caleb Williams. It just makes the most sense. Let's see what you do and then go from there. The only reason I think they kept him around for so long, Eberflus, was that the defense was actually looking really good in for the first 6 games. They were top 10.
And he's basically your defensive coordinator. Basically,
yes. Yeah, he was calling all the plays. He was doing everything, and then the defense stopped playing. If the job that you're doing as a head coach and defensive coordinator is not working anymore, and your mismanagement of the clock and everything. I mean, he's done this the entire career with the Bears. You have to let him go. It's no point on. And now, the way I see it is you're doing him a favor, because you're putting him out of his misery. And now you could actually look at head coaching candidates and look at the one that you promoted for the interim coach this year. And you have a head start. Once that season ends, you can immediately start interviewing people. You could get, that Black Monday. It could be interview number 1. You have everything set up beforehand. You don't have to go through the press conference and a whole week of explaining what direction we're going into. So
that should already be established by that day. Like you guys should hit the ground running on that Monday. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, so good luck to the Bears for the rest of the way. Hopefully this guy does well. The next one.
I'm happy I get to watch the Bears. I know they're probably not going to do well. I want to see how different they look without Eberflus there. If they look like the team that they were in the first 6 weeks of the season, with a better offense, then you definitely know everything wrong with this organization and this team was on the head coach. So let's go forward. Let's see what happens.
Yep. I wish you guys good luck. So next, yesterday we had the Cowboys and the Giants. I mean, not really much to say there. It was what I thought it was going to be, really, to be honest with you.
I figured Dallas would win. I didn't think New York was going to. I mean, the score was a lot closer than the game actually, appeared. 27-20. Yeah, that was they gave up a garbage touchdown at the end of the game. It's like, okay, whatever. The only thing that Dallas winning does is it delays the firing of Mike McCarthy any further.
And brings them lower in the draft board as well, which is fine with me.
Yeah. So, it's one of those where
I was happy to see that they at least they started Drew Lock rather than Tommy Cutlets. I mean, that's at least showing that they kind of care about winning. But
Tommy Cutlets was injured. He has an elbow injury, so that's why they started Drew Lock.
Too much jacking off on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The first interception though, that's pretty impressive play.
Yeah.
That the Dallas outside linebacker made, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, what? It was a decent. Dallas played decent, but then again, they played the Giants, so you really can't look too much into it. You're playing probably the worst team in the NFL right now. The Giants are worse than the Panthers, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Panthers are kind of on the uptake, I think.
I think so too. I think the sitting of Bryce Young for a while definitely helped out. And it was one of those was we're not sitting you because we don't believe in you, but you were just not you. We put you in way too far, way too quick than you should have. You weren't ready. Yeah, you should have said an entire season.
Right. Well, at that point, Andy Dalton was the best person to get you wins. Maybe he might not have been better than Bryce Young, but he was moving the offense and doing things that Bryce Young wasn't doing at that time.
Right.
I thought it was a good move. I'm glad. I'm just glad Bryce Young's career isn't over. I mean, because obviously he's been dealt a shit sandwich, and with Carolina. So it's good to see him playing well. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't resign there for him. To be honest with you, I'd rather go be a backup somewhere else to deal with that shit show.
Yeah.
Maybe do the Geno Smith route. Go be a backup for a couple of places and learn football a little bit better.
Yeah.
Even though I think Bryce Young has a much better football mind than Geno Smith. Don't get me wrong, but maybe taking that kind of a path would be better.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully he figures it out. You hate to see a first overall pick just bust. He's a nice enough guy. I have nothing against him.
Especially since he's a good kid too. You know what I mean?
It's
not like this is Ryan Leaf out there fucking everything up.
Yeah, Ryan Leaf was a jagoff from the beginning.
Right.
Very similar to Cade McCown for that the Bears got. Which was was second overall pick, and it's like, wow, these guys suck. These fucking suck.
Funny enough, I think he's his quarterback coach, by the way.
Really?
It's one of the McCown brothers. I think is his quarterback coach. I'm almost positive of that. I don't know if it's Cade because there's like 3 or 4 of the McNown.
I think there's Josh McCown, and then there's Cade, but I don't think they're related in any way.
Okay, I think they're brothers, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach is a McNown.
Let's see. Let's see. Cade it's McNown. That's right, not McCown. We had McCown and we had McNown. Cade McNown.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Right. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he didn't play very long, and he's not doing much.
Okay.
Played with the Bears. He literally played a total of 3 seasons.
And nobody signed him after his rookie deal?
No. He works for JP Morgan Chase Bank now.
Hey, that's a good job though.
And then he started doing that, and then he joined a management firm as the vice president. Now he's senior managing director for the Carlyle Group.
Yeah, some hedge fund company, sounds like.
Yeah, so he's just a business guy.
Yep. Shaking hands and giving nice hugs, I guess.
Yeah, he still sucks. So fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. But I think there is. I am serious. I think that there's a McCown, or it's a McCown is the his offensive coordinator.
I think it's Josh. Coach. In fact, Josh.
I think you're right. I think it is Josh.
Josh has been noted as possibly a head coach candidate in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know they were talking about he was a kind of an up and comer and stuff. So
It usually happens with a lot of career backup quarterbacks. You see everything. You're pretty much another coach on the sideline. So some of them make the best coaches because they've been working with clipboards and running plays, and they got to do the management portion of it while still wearing a uniform and possibly playing 1-2 times a year.
Right, but still having to study.
Yeah,
probably even more than the starter does, because again, you're almost like the assistant quarterback coach at that point.
Well, on top of that, then you got to also look at the teams that you're playing against. You got to run scout team and do all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it makes sense. The way I see it, the backup quarterback is very similar to a backup catcher in baseball. They're usually the ones that make the best managers because they're game management players. And they watch from the bench. They're a glorified bench coach.
Mm-hmm. So next we had Miami and Green Bay, and again this one kind of played out just like I thought it would. Miami just can't play in cold weather. As much as they want to talk about how it's not a big deal and it's not a problem, it's a problem.
Yeah, they suck. I mean, that's what happens when you get a Hawaiian as your quarterback. It's just it would be different if he got signed to a team that was playing in the cold and he got accustomed to it. But he plays in fucking Miami. It's 75 degrees there all year long.
Right, and he played at Alabama before that, which is not much different.
Not much different. And then from there, he was in Hawaii. So it's like, and you could just see the play in under 40 degrees. He can't grip the ball. He has a hard time. A lot of those passes were overthrown or underthrown. He just
high.
You can't
high
do it
all night long on even like just a simple curl route. Doesn't help though that his wide receivers are 5'8", you know what I mean, and 5'9".
I'm still wondering too. I've looked back at a couple of those games after he came back from the concussion, and he's been overthrowing a lot of the receivers. It's been consistent. So I wouldn't be surprised if he still has effects of that concussion still lingering.
I would think so with how many he's had too. Because if I'm not mistaken, with concussions, the more you get, the worse, or the more dangerous it gets.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the lingering effects of even a small concussion at that point is going to linger on longer than it would for a guy like me or you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I really want to like that Miami team, but there's sometimes also McDaniel on the sideline sometimes just looks like he just doesn't give two shits about what's going on.
It almost looks like lately he's back on the booze. He quit drinking, and
yeah, I know. Yeah,
he has that glazed over look. I don't know, maybe it's just the stress or having to work for Wayne Izinga, but he's not the same coach. I mean, they're not the same team.
Right. Yeah.
I felt like Miami was one of those up and comer teams 2 years ago, and then like last year they started out in a bang, and then they got dealt a shitty hand having to play in northern cities outdoors for the last 7 weeks of the season.
Right.
And then Buffalo just got hot and took over, and Buffalo said, "Yeah, no, we're not going to let you win this division." Right. In fact, I think Buffalo clinched yesterday because Miami lost.
I think you're right. I think they did.
I think if Miami lost, Buffalo clinched yesterday because they have they don't have the week off. They had the week off last week.
Yeah, but they're 9-2, I want to say.
Yeah, I got the standings right here. Buffalo's 9-2 with 6 games left. Miami is 5-7.
So they might, if they win this week, then it sounds like that'd be a clinch.
Yeah, if they win this week, then it's 100% clinch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if Buffalo loses 5 straight games. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. If Buffalo wins, which I'm pretty sure they're going to, then they clinch the division.
I think as a franchise, they really need to look at who they're drafting. They maybe need to start looking at more, north of, Texas, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Just start maybe trying to get some of these grittier, cold weather players to, mix in with, because again, look at the SEC. The whole SEC pretty much is warm weather teams. And that's where the majority of the college players are coming, or I'm saying the players are coming out of these cooler or warmer climate teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. So, but Miami's until they figure this out, they're just not even worth talking about, really. Which is sad, because again, Mike McDaniel does do some pretty good things in warm weather. But I didn't see a lot of gimmicky shit though yesterday either, though. You know what I mean? Like there was not a lot of gimmicky crap.
I think it was just too cold. Everybody on that team looked miserable yesterday. Watching the game, it was just like there was no life coming from Miami at all. There was no such of urgency. They just looked like a team that was freezing, and they couldn't wait to get off the field in their parkas and on the sidelines by the heaters.
They should stop catering to them bastards too. In these, because I guess they brought like 40,000 pounds of cold weather equipment or some shit to the game. Fuck that. You know what? Deal with it. They didn't look as bad as they did in Kansas City, but it was also 40 degrees warmer than it was in Kansas City.
I was going to say that game in Kansas City was.
They all look miserable, just miserable. Which I can't say I blame them. It would be miserable playing football out in that kind of weather, but you can't have that kind of look on your face. You just can't. No. You're defeated already at that point.
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll move right along here. So we have a game today, actually in about 1 hour. The Raiders at Kansas City. Kansas City is a 13-point favorite at home in this one. Any thoughts on the Raiders in this one or no?
Who's quarterbacking for the Raiders?
I think it is not Ritter, but the other guy.
Because I know Minshew is out now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think so. Broke his collarbone. Aiden O'Connell, right?
So he's done. So what is it? That hillbilly kid?
Aiden O'Connell, I think, is the one that's going to start for him.
Oh,
Ritter's their other quarterback, and he's booty too. So
yeah, it's not gonna be good. So let's see who is starting today. News for the Las Vegas Raiders. Gardner Minshew did not. Okay, Aiden O'Connell was full participant in practice yesterday or 2 days ago. So
yeah,
he will probably be the starter. I forgot that Cody Whitehair was on that team. Wow, ex-Bear. No wonder they suck so bad. Although I kind of wish we would have had him now because we don't have anybody on the offensive line.
Yeah, the line play there in Chicago is very hit and miss. It seems like.
So yeah, I don't see any, unless Patrick Mahomes spontaneously combusts during the game in the first quarter. There's no way Kansas City's going to lose this game.
Yeah, and I think they cover fairly easily too.
In the dome, they're playing in Kansas City. It's going to be cold. Kansas City's used to it. Yeah, no. 13 points. I would definitely take that 13 points for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Next we have Seattle at the Jets. Jets are 2-point underdog at home. When I did the sheet, they were 2-point underdogs. I know that line had been jumping around a lot, so they could be 1-point favorites at this point. But neither here nor there. Seattle at Jets.
I got Seattle on this one. I think the Jets are just a horrible. There's so much going on with that team. I feel like they're the AFC Bears. They are between. The only thing that the Bears have going is they got a rookie quarterback that's actually looking like he's the needle's pointing north. Where Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers is. You could see the decline and the fact that really nobody likes him on that team. He is not liked on that team. The demeanor that's going on the sidelines, they can't stand him. They think he's an arrogant prick just in their demeanor alone. So I got Seattle on this one.
Yep.
I think it's going to be close, but I think Seattle pulls it off.
Yeah, I think the close point spread in that I think is right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think Seattle's going to end up pulling it off. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Rodgers at the end of the season. If they keep him.
I don't think they're going to keep him. I honestly don't. I think they are going to have to start in a different direction, and you're going to get a new head coach. So you might as well just draft a quarterback or get a quarterback and start fresh.
Yeah, you didn't bring Aaron Rodgers in there to get you to the playoffs or to fight for a division win. You brought him in there to win you a Super Bowl. And if he's not going to win you a Super Bowl, then it's time to just cut bait and just go move on.
I still can't believe that the Jets were one of the teams considered as Super Bowl favorites in the beginning of the season. That one shocks me. I don't know what odds makers were going for, but no.
Nobody had seen Aaron Rodgers play.
Yeah, he was busy in Cambodia.
Getting new tattoos and doing ayahuasca. He's got other shit.
Smoking hookah.
He's rich.
Yeah.
Right, he's rich as fuck, why not go travel the world, get tattoos, and do ayahuasca wherever you want? Shit.
Right.
You're on the downside of your career regardless. So, So, moving right along, Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is 5-point dogs at home. They're trending the wrong way, in my opinion. I took Houston in this one. So did Eric. We both took Houston.
I'm taking Houston. Although the last couple of games that I've seen from Houston, they are definitely having that sophomore slump of a season. They are. Yeah. Everybody thought they were going to be, another team that was going to be competing for the AFC title, and you always have to look at that sophomore season. Even though what's his face is playing well as quarterback, he's not playing like he did last year. They got tape on him. They know how
Right.
to play him. So he's got to adjust. Hopefully it works out.
Well, they got some line problems there in Houston too.
Yeah.
Too much focusing on bright shiny toys out there to make plays and not thinking about the hogs in the middle. And that's part of their downfall, I think, is their line has not been playing very well.
Well, can you what's another factor you think that might be weighing them down a little bit? What receiver did they pick up in the offseason?
Stephon Diggs, who got hurt about a month ago.
Yeah, well, the last couple of years in Buffalo, I mean, Buffalo was supposed to be a lot better than they were. It's amazing. The minute they got rid of Diggs, Buffalo has jumped and improved dramatically.
Same with Minnesota too. As much as I hate to say it.
Yeah. So maybe Stephon Diggs is an underlying factor on why things are going south. He is a prima donna. He does bitch and complain if he doesn't get the ball when he wants it. So you're doing that.
He's kind of a locker room divider too. Not a cancer, but I think a divider.
Yeah, it's you're either with me
because it was always said there was no problems between him and Josh, right? But yet you would see, I don't know. I think you had Team Josh and Team Stephon there. I really do, and it sounds like it might be happening there in Houston too. Who knows? But
I don't know. But I still think Houston's going to win this game. Jacksonville. You're not. Trevor Lawrence is not going to be playing.
I don't think it matters if he is. That franchise is horrible.
I'm surprised Doug Peterson still has a job, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's something up with that guy. Obviously, he must interview very well, but I don't know. It seems like he gets a team, and then that team divides too. You know what I mean? Like,
he did it in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's what got him fired. Is you couldn't keep the team was fucking not staying together.
Yeah.
And look at him now. I mean, that you hire the biggest dumb shit in the fucking league as your coach, and they're top 3 team in the league record-wise.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Doug Peterson, I don't think he's gonna get another shot at head coaching. To be honest, maybe he'll be like the next Stefanski.
Maybe
or not Stefanski. The guy in Kansas City, defense coordinator. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Been a head coach a couple times, didn't do shit, but he's the best defensive coach in the league. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guys just aren't meant to be head coaches. It is what it is. You can make a pretty good salary though as a coordinator these days, though.
Yeah, and then you don't have as much responsibility. Some guys are just good at their job; they just can't handle the responsibility of taking on the media and being the leader of the whole team. So
yeah, it is different. It looks, from the outside looking in, it's different being a head coach than it is being a coordinator. You're more of you're the CEO of the whole, the whole organization.
Yeah.
It's you can't just focus on one side like these other guys do. But yeah, Tennessee at Washington. Washington is 5.5-point favorites at home in this one.
Tennessee. Oh, I got Washington big time. Tennessee is just too. Although Tennessee did win last week. Did they win last week? Yeah, they did win last week.
Yeah.
I still gotta go with Washington on this one at home. They've got a good coaching staff that seems to be. The thing about it is they got good ownership now, and that ownership is going to step in and fix anything that's wrong right away. Magic Johnson does not like losing teams.
No, and he's got a basketball title and a baseball title now. So someone knows what he's doing. And I guess his tweets are amazing on game days, from what I understand.
I'll have to check that out.
I'm not on the tweeter, but yeah, I guess Magic's got some pretty good takes from time. Next we got Arizona at Minnesota. Minnesota 3.5-point favorites at home against Arizona, who lost to Seattle last week, and Kyler Murray did not look like he had the up to that point. So, but it isn't a dome.
I'm going to go with Minnesota. Just way better defense and. For some reason, I have this feeling they're going to keep pace with Detroit going forward.
I'm still not a believer in Minnesota, but I took them in this game. I took Minnesota. Eric took Arizona, by the way. Oh yeah, the last one we both took Washington and we both took Houston. So this is the first one that
I'm
there
going
was
with Minnesota. Who did he pick
Yeah,
in the Chicago-Detroit game? Did he pick Chicago?
Of course he did.
Why? Why?
Because he's never going to flip.
Oh my God! Yeah, but this is what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over again, knowing that it's never going to change.
Right? Yeah. It's going to cost him this little thing here if he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Because again, yeah, going in there, you're 102, Eric was 101, and I'm at 100. So we're all like right there still.
Okay.
Indy at New England.
I got Indy. Indy looked good last week.
I'm still not sold on Richardson. He still looks like lost out there sometimes, or maybe not lost, but he's not a great pocket passer. But I think they'll be New England. I think
because New England just is bad, and the fact that they looked so good. Who did they play last week? I forgot.
Oh,
I can tell you.
Yeah.
NFL. They played. Oh, no, that's not right. Did they play? Oh, they played Detroit. I'm thinking 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, they looked really good. Last week against Detroit, they got their asses kicked. But then again, that doesn't shock me.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they look good enough every week to just – they're competitive. Let's put it that they're competitive. They just don't know how to win.
Right.
I think they're better than their record shows, but they're still shit.
Yeah. I'm still going Indianapolis on this one.
Oh, we both did as well. Next, we have Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a 3-point favorite at home in this one, which, looking at records and looking at everything else, that's amazing to me. But I took Pitt, and Eric took Cincinnati.
I see. I'm taking Pitt on this one. After that loss against Cleveland, I think they're going to come out swinging. But Cincinnati's defense is so bad.
Yeah.
So I got to go with Pittsburgh on this one. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a high-scoring, close game. I think both defenses give up a lot, but in the end, I think Cincinnati's defense is going – I think it comes down to who's a better coach, and in this case, I am picking Mike Tomlin for sure.
Well, and sooner or later, Pittsburgh's defense is going to get a turnover. You know what I mean? They're going to outplay Cincinnati's defense easily, I think, in this. Which you're right, they might give up a lot of yards, but I think when push comes to shove, I definitely trust Pittsburgh's defense way more than I trust Cincinnati. So
I think TJ Watt has a dynamite game against Cincinnati this week.
Yeah. Next is the Chargers at Atlanta. Atlanta's a 1.5 favorite in this one at home, which
I'm going with the Chargers on this one.
I am as well. Eric took Atlanta.
Okay.
By the way.
Yeah, Atlanta to me seems like their arrow is pointing down. They just can't. Atlanta's too wishy-washy. You don't know which team you're going to get. And I feel like Jim Harbaugh, with that loss against Baltimore last week, is going to have his team fired up. And I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to get them up chucking. And they're playing indoors, so they don't have to worry about the elements.
Might be a blowout, to be honest with you, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm not sold on Atlanta. I for about 1 week earlier in the season, I was kind of getting on the train with them, but then I don't know. You gotta Kirk Cousins is your quarterback. I'll just leave it at that. Kirk Cousins is your quarterback.
Right.
Philadelphia at Baltimore. Baltimore is a 3.5-point favorite at home in this one.
I'm actually going to go with Baltimore in this one.
Yep. All of us did, or Eric did as well. So did I.
Okay.
I just Philadelphia on the road against Baltimore, who's going to be, they're almost a must win. You know what I mean? At this point.
Yeah, every game for them is a must win. They have to keep pace with Pittsburgh. It's one of those where it's too close. But Lamar Jackson has taken off as quarterback. He is starting to look like a possible MVP candidate all over again.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, his numbers that are already this year are better than they were last year when he won the MVP. So pretty crazy. Yep. Tampa Bay at Carolina. Carolina is a 5-point underdog at home.
See, I was teeter-tottering, almost thinking about taking Carolina, but I'm not. I'm going to Tampa Bay, and I like Baker Mayfield. I think he's got a big set of cojones on him, and he is fearless. The guy likes to compete, and he's out to prove everybody wrong, especially Carolina, who he was traded to. So I think it's going to be the Baker Mayfield game. I think he's going to, he's going to show he's got a pair of brass balls.
I think so too. I was with you on that one. I was thinking Carolina, but then I was like, oh wait, Baker Mayfield is in Tampa Bay, and he's playing out of his fucking mind right now.
Yeah.
So Rams at New Orleans. New Orleans is a 3-point underdog at home in this one.
They're actually going to be my upset for the week. I'm picking New Orleans. For some reason, after watching the Rams the last couple of weeks, I have this feeling because New Orleans is one of those teams where they lose a few bad games, and then they have this one surprising game that you'd like, what the fuck? So
yeah,
at home in the Mardi Gras Dome, I am going with New Orleans.
Both me and Eric took the Rams, but I was waffling on this one pretty well too. Because you're right. The Rams haven't looked good the last couple of weeks, but for me at least, every time I bet against the Rams, they fucking pull some fucking shit out of their ass and win. So I'm going with the Rams in this one. So did Eric, but I think you might be right on this one. I think New Orleans might come out and beat them. On Sunday night is San Francisco at Buffalo. Buffalo is a 6.5 point favorite at home.
That could change too. Right now, they're calling for possible winter weather watch right now that could turn into a warning by the time that game starts.
Oh, yeah. I heard one of the commentators was talking about that over the last couple of days, where somebody had told them that you might be here in Buffalo for a couple of days.
Yeah, because it might be turned into it's going to be lake effect snow, but you could see up to over a foot of snow plus 30-mile-an-hour winds. So goodness. I'm going. I got to take Buffalo on this one just for the fact that San Francisco doesn't play in the cold like this.
Right. In Buffalo, they live in it.
Josh Allen loves those types of games. The fans are going to be there. It's going to be packed. It's going to be packed. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a Buffalo-esque atmosphere. I got Buffalo 100% on this one.
And a quarter of the people in these stands will be shirtless too.
Yes, they will. And how many? And they better start stocking up on folding tables because those are going to be destroyed in the parking lot.
Yep. All right. So then Monday night we have Cleveland at Denver. Denver is a 5.5 point favorite at home in this one.
I like Denver in this one.
Yep. Both Eric and myself took Denver as well.
It's hard to go against Denver lately for how they have been playing. I did not expect this out of them, and you got to give props to Sean Payton. He has turned that team around big time.
As much as I don't want to give props to Sean Payton because I think he's kind of a dill hole, but yeah, I mean he's turned that team around very quickly, especially once they got rid of Russ. I mean, Bo Nix has been his guy.
See,
I'll tell you what,
I still would be very okay with Sean Payton as the Bears head coach. I mean, he's from the area. He grew up a Bears fan. It's one of those where I think he would do really well. Problem is the Bears would never, ever hire him because he's got too much of a personality, which the McCaskies do not like.
They hired Ditka?
No, well...
Or was that where they said, okay, no more of this shit?
Well, no. The McCaskies didn't hire Ditka. George Halas hired Ditka and then passed away. Okay. It was George Halas. Yeah, George Halas was the one that was his last hiring before he passed away. He hired Mike Ditka himself. He personally called him up and said, I want you as head coach of the Chicago Bears.
And how can you say no to George Halas?
You can't. And, it worked out. And then it was the McCaskies that have botched everything else since they fired Ditka in 93.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't think of a guy that I would call a good head coach that's been in Chicago since then.
Lovie Smith. I would say Lovie Smith was a good head coach.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he held it together there for a long time.
Lovie Smith had 9 seasons in Chicago, which 83, 93, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. Okay, so Ditka was there just a couple years longer than Lovey was in Chicago, but Lovey had he had a winning record overall. Took him to a Super Bowl. He won the division. They beat the Packers numerous times. They played a good, solid defense. They played good football. And then George took over and decided, I don't like Lovie Smith. I want to hire my own guys. And the Bears have had one winning season in the last 14 years.
Yeah, I just wouldn't say Dave Wanstead was a great hire, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of him either.
No, the only reason he got hired is because he did so well in Dallas with Jimmy Johnson.
Right. But that's almost you almost can't not do a good job with Jimmy, to be honest. But Jimmy Johnson sure did go off on old Eberflus, or was pretty pissed off at Eberflus yesterday.
I think that's one of the reasons.
Jimmy Johnson looked like he wanted to jump through the screen and fucking get him himself.
Yeah, I think that's another reason why there were so many that they had to fire him today, is because it wasn't just Chicago news. It was national news of what happened. And everybody saw this. This was the only game on. The early game. Everybody watches it on Thanksgiving. Yeah, everybody watches the Detroit game. It starts early. It's before dinner. The fact that the whole nation saw Matt Eberflus fuck it up and then go to blame his quarterback at the end of the game. Well, you can't do that.
No.
They asked Caleb Williams, why didn't you take a timeout? And his answer was, listen, I am a rookie. I am not established in the NFL. My job is to go out there, get better every game, make my plays where I'm supposed to. But when it comes to clock management, I can't make that decision. I have to leave it up to my head coaches right now.
Which was probably the direction it's been all year long.
Yeah, you're not allowed to take timeouts. You leave it to your coaching staff. Let them do it. You focus on throwing your passes, changing the plays. He's improved. He's gotten better. I mean, he just set a rookie record yesterday. Most consecutive passes as a rookie in the entire history of the NFL without throwing an interception.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive. What is it, 243 consecutive attempts without an interception?
That's really good.
Yeah.
For a veteran, that's good.
Yeah, he's already set 2 weeks ago. He set the Bears rookie record as a quarterback, most yards in the season, and he still has 6 games left.
Yeah, I think you guys did get maybe not the one, but you guys got a good one.
I think he could be. I think he could be one of the ones that everybody looks to with the right coaching staff.
Right. I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm just well, let me ask you this. If you were the Bears player personnel guy and you could go back, would you still draft Caleb Williams?
Yeah.
Over everything else you've seen, you still go with Caleb?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he is more of a pro style quarterback than anybody else in the NFL. And the thing about it is you look at a lot of these other guys that are doing real well, they're not pocket quarterbacks, where Caleb Williams is pocket first. You know, he's your typical kind of old school type of quarterback. He's going to hang out in the pocket unless he can't do it anymore. You know, you watch him versus Justin Fields, and I like Justin Fields a lot. But that coaching staff that he had when he was a rookie destroyed his confidence. He wasn't comfortable in the pocket. He was run first, then pass.
Yeah, I was going to say Justin Fields is more of I would say, of a north-south kind of a runner, where Caleb Williams is more east-west. Like he's going to try to stay behind the line of scrimmage to make a play, rather than Justin Fields is going to be like, okay, time for me. Now it's my turn to go make a play.
When it comes to running, though, Caleb Williams is smarter when it comes to not getting hit. He is willing to take that slide and relinquish 2 or 3 yards versus Justin Fields, who was more hesitant, like, oh, I can get these 2 yards. And then he get his ass kicked in. So I think it's going to be good. From what I've seen since Thomas Brown took over, he looks like a completely different quarterback. And Thomas Brown is letting him do the things that he's comfortable with.
Right.
And I think Shane Waldron,
kind of a good coach.
Yeah, I think Shane Waldron was your typical, I'm the coach, I'm the call of the plays that I want. I want you to play this way, and this is how it's going to be. And he just wasn't comfortable with it.
It's my offense.
Yeah,
We're
pretty
going to run
much.
my offense.
Right. Whereas Thomas Brown is like, well, it's my offense now, but you're my quarterback, and I need you to play well. So I'm going to make it easier for you. What are you comfortable with? What do you like? Let's go through the playbook, because that's what they did after Brown got hired. He set up a meeting with his quarterbacks and said, okay, we're going to dumb this down. We're still use the playbook that we have because we can't change it in the middle of the season.
Yeah, it's too late. Right.
But which plays are we going to get rid of? This one. All these screen passes that Waldron was running, throw them away. We're not doing that anymore.
There's a time and a place for a screen pass. 1st and 10, most of the time is in the right spot.
Or 3rd and 13 is not a spot for a screen either.
Well, if you're inside your 20, maybe, where you're just trying to get some more yards to punt the ball.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The Bears are they're not making the playoffs this year. Now it's just let's see if there's any improvement with Eberflus gone and make the right decision going forward.
Right. And you still want to win a couple games, but you guys are going to be top 10 picks probably. So you guys are going to get another really good player.
I hope it's somebody on the offensive line.
It better be, which is what it sounds like.
Yeah. You have to go offensive line heavy going forward. And I think the Bears still need a big body in that middle. You need 2 big bodies because you got 2 decent edge rushers. You need 2 big bodies in the middle clogging up the hole.
Right. Well, you can get one of those guys in the 2nd round too, if need be. But
you can get one in the 3rd round if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Just you get the biggest fucking guy that can actually move just to take up space.
Mm-hmm.
Frees up everybody else in the secondary. You could bring the linebacker in. You could have a blitz. You know why? Because it's very similar to the 46. You clog that up. You got 5 guys. You're going to have 2 of those 5 guys on the line that are going to have to take care of one of those big bodies in your middle, possibly 3, 4.
Right.
I look at the Bears' success even in the 85. I'm going to go back to the 85 season. You had Refrigerator Perry clogging up the middle. He was the biggest guy on the planet at that time, but it left so much open for them to make those plays. Even the 2006 Bears, you had Tommy Harris and you had who was the other guy that they had? Tank Johnson and Tommy Harris, 2 big motherfuckers. And then when they started getting injured, it just wasn't the same.
Ex-Husky, by the way, Tank Johnson. Ex-Husky.
I like Tank Johnson. And then he went nuts.
He was kind of a tool, but he was good though.
Yeah. Well, he got in trouble with some gun charges.
That's what I mean. He's kind of a tool, but you get a lot of money. That's what you have to do though. You just buy a bunch of guns that are unregistered, I mean, smart, right?
Yeah, I think he had a lot of head problems.
Yeah, he was kind of, but he was a good player. He was a really good player.
What's the thing about the Bears is they were willing to hire criminals at that time, and Tank Johnson was I think he was teetering on that line from decent human being or a criminal,
Yeah. It happens, not all of us are, have great upbringings, So.
I forgot who said it. There was somebody in the NFL that said in order to be a successful team, you have to have at least a quarter of your players have to be criminal-esque. They have to be these guys that just don't give a shit.
I want to say it was Gruden.
Maybe it was Gruden. It sounds like something Gruden would say.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like something he would say. But yeah, I'd heard that before too. That you need, a quarter of your team needs to be a bunch of fucking thugs.
Yeah, you especially in football, and they have to be on the defense because you have to have that no offensive line. You have to have smart players that are good at their job.
Yeah.
Defense, you need some criminals. You need somebody that's just not going to give a shit and is willing to just throw themselves recklessly to try to make a play.
Or your running back can be a criminal too.
Yeah. Not O.J. Simpson criminal, but yeah.
No. Like Marshawn Lynch criminal is more what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think so.
Did a DUI, might beat up a guy at a bar one time.
Beast mode.
Like
you
that.
need somebody that just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch is hilarious. I love watching him on the Thursday night pregame.
He has a podcast too, by the way.
Is it
him and Mike Robinson, who used to be his fullback. They kind of, their banter sometimes gets a little old, but just listen to Marshawn Lynch, interview, different guys. It's very good, and he doesn't get corporate, as he calls it. He is still Marshawn talking from East Oakland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's worth an hour of your time. I'll say that.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's Get Got is the name of the podcast. The Get Got podcast.
Get Got. I'll check that out when I'm at the office. That's when I listen to a lot of my podcasts at the office at work. So that would be perfect opportunity to check that out.
And I will tell you, at least once a week, because I listen to mine like on the bus and stuff, I laugh out loud at least once a week from something that one of those two guys says. It's good because Mike Robinson is he is on NBC. I want to say he has college games, and then he's sometimes like in the office for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty. He's buttoned up. Unlike Marshawn, who's just East Oakland all the way. So definitely worth a watch.
I'll check that out.
All right. Well, I think we should probably wrap it up here. We got about 30 minutes till kickoff, and and I know you got other things going on there in the greater Chicago area. So
yeah, we get to brave the cold today.
Yep.
It's currently right now it is colder than they said it was. We're at 22 degrees outside right now with a real feel of 13.
Ouch. I'm at a balmy 39 here in Washington. So
I would love 39. Yeah, 22.
We're shorts and t-shirts.
It was supposed to be a high of 25 today. I don't see that happening.
No, probably not.
But I know it's going to get down, I think, a low tonight of about 15. Real feel at -1.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll take the rain. All right. Well, thanks to you all for checking in, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. I will for sure be here on Wednesday, and then hopefully we have a full crew, and I will talk to you during the games today. I'm sure we'll be all texting.
I'm sure we will. All right. We'll go and shut this down for now.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
Yep, you too. Perfect.